think got it up and going. Get it up on my phone. Okay. As you hop on, say hi and let me know you're here. If somebody's here, you can say hi, talk to me. It's Dawn. Hi, Dawn. How are you today? Happy Friday. I completely forgot today was Friday. I was thinking it was Thursday still. So I'm sitting on the couch, doodling around on Facebook a little while ago, and I'm like, oh no, today is Friday. So I had to run, take a shower real quick. So I went ahead, no makeup, and I just grabbed some stuff. So let's hope and pray this looks good when we're done. All right, we're gonna start with a, let's see, 24-inch flocked base that I got from Walmart. I've already fluffed it for the most part. What that means is I just go in and I separate all the branches. I am great, Dawn. I am. Just I was a little out of breath. I felt a little rushed because I was, not even thinking today was Friday. I don't know what's wrong with me. Hi, Sherry. Okay, so this is another snowman, kind of like we did a couple of weeks ago, I think. Was it 2 weeks ago? Shoot, I don't know. Dollar General has these, and they're $6. This one says Merry Christmas. But like we did with the last one, if you don't like the look of it, you can cut pieces off and add to it and make it what you want. So if you don't want it to say Merry Christmas and you want it to be more of a winter, you could totally take a piece of fabric and cover over that, or a piece of ribbon and glue over that, and nobody will be any wiser. But I think we're going to leave it for Christmas. And this flocked wreath gets all over this material. So I have a lint roller to get some of that off. Don't even know why I'm bothering, because it's just going to go back on there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. All right. That left a nasty big hole in it, but it'll be covered. All right, we're going to set him down here out of the way, I think. And I pulled some poinsettias, some balls, some snowflakes, coordinating ribbon, and we're going to put down some mesh first. I'm just going to move things out of my way so I have room to cut the mesh. Rotary cutter, there it is. I'm going to move that out of the way. This is probably going to be one of the last wreaths that I make for Christmas and winter. I think I might have one, maybe two more that I'm going to make for winter, not Christmas. And then we'll be moving on to Valentine's. And I'll probably just start everyday stuff. Maybe some spring. I've got a good amount of spring supplies that I could start getting into before stores get their stuff put out. So I'm cutting these at 20 inches, and I'm just going to cut a few. I think I'm going to use the solid red, and this is a fabric mesh. And then I'm going to use this striped, it's just jute poly mesh. Both of them are 10 inches. Hi, Tracy. Glad you ladies could make it today. I almost didn't. I forgot today was Friday. I'm going to cut probably about 5 of each. We're just going to go around the outside border. Hi, Donnie. How are you? How was everybody's week? That was a real uneven edge, so I'm just going to trim it. You know, I have a mesh roller. It's a single one, but I don't do a lot of mesh, so I didn't get it out. That would have made my life easier. I have one like Lori does, but mine's the single. It's not the fancy schmancy one, but it does its job. I think it was the first one that Susie put out, because I got it at the first Wreath Makers Live, I believe. 2, 3, 4, 5. This one will be 5. We'll start with this many. We may end up cutting a few more, but I don't like to overcut because I don't like random pieces. All right. Again, this is the 24-inch flocked wreath from Walmart. All right, we're gonna take and just roll the edges in just a bit and scrunch it. That's all we're gonna do. I'll just kind of tuck the edges in. I kind of got out of the center. Try to keep it down the middle, ruffle it down the middle, and just scrunch it. Doesn't have to be exact. And we're just gonna go around the wreath and alternate the colors. Because this is flocked, sometimes it's hard to find the thinner ones that tie easier. So you just kind of have to separate them a little bit and find your way through the mass of flock. See that? Beautiful. Hi, Linda. And Linda. Should I put some black in there? You know what? Now that I think about it, maybe I want to put some black in there. Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Let me put my little guy up here. Yeah, I'm going to add some black. So let's cut a couple pieces of those. Don't you just love it when you have a thought just mid step? Three, 4, 5. Surely that will be enough since we're using 3 colors. All right. back down to the table we go. All right, so just tuck the edges under, scrunch down the center. Find the thinner flocked ties because they tie way easier. And since there's not, you know, like pre-spaced ties on here where you know exactly where you have to put mesh, I'm just going to say the best idea is to add it where the end of the ruffle stops on the previous one. I want them that close, okay? If it's too lopsided, you can totally pull it out, you know, and adjust it while it's in your hand. And easy to tie ties. Yep. And if it looks lopsided when I put it in there, I just loosen the tie a little bit and adjust. So solid red. You know you have a flocked one somewhere, you just can't find it. I actually sent my husband to Walmart the other day to get me a couple, and they only had 3 left. And I was like, oh no. So he got 2 good ones, and he said the other one he would have gotten, but it was falling apart. So if you guys want to get some, I'd say you should probably snag them quick, because even last season, I remember they sold out really quickly in stores and even online, and you couldn't get them anymore. And that was earlier in the season. So, hi, Robbie. Welcome. Am I doing that? Yep. Okay. I got talking. I'm like, did I miss a color? No. And what adding mesh does is it adds volume to your wreath for, you know, little investment. You know, 1 roll of mesh doing it like this will last you several designs. And I typically only buy colors of mesh that I can use year round. Let's see, the striped red. Your Walmart's already totally out. Yep, they go quick. They sure do. I mean, sometimes you can go on Walmart online and check like stores like within a 50-mile radius of where you live, and sometimes you might get lucky, but usually they don't stick around long on shelves. So I'm taking the really nice, juicy, fluffy flock branches, and I kind of separate them because you find the thinner ones down here in the center. Those are the ones that I want to tie with, and save the fluffy ones um, to fill in the big spots so you don't see the frame. I need to move that one over. So if you put one in and it's too far apart, just take it out, shake it off, okay, and re-ruffle. I will say, if you are not using good quality mesh, taking it out and re-ruffling is going to make your edges fray really bad. So, you know, do your best to try to put it in straight the first time, but it's not the end of the world if you have to move it around, I promise. Let's try if I want to use these two, I think. And also with the mesh, I'm creating my outside line, the shape of the wreath. So keep that in mind as well when you're putting it in. If you put one piece in, it's kind of off-centered, so you've got one longer side and one shorter side, that's going to skew the shape of the wreath. Since we're not going to put a ton on this, well, I say that now, I always end up doing that, but when you don't put a ton on a wreath, you can, what was I saying? Oh, you can really tell that, you know, your outside line is off, so just be mindful. It looks like I don't want two pieces of the same color together. I'm going to put this red. It's okay if you end up getting two pieces of the same color together. It's not the end of the world. But I had some cut, so I obviously cut way too much still because I changed and added that third color in after I'd already cut mesh. That's all right though. Okay. My wreath stand, oh gosh, I don't remember their names. I got it from a vendor from the first Wreath Makers Live, and I think I was supposed to find that information out for y'all once upon a time, and I forgot. Somebody please send me a message on Messenger and remind me to do that so I don't forget this time, and I'll get that lady's name for you. Okay. I don't think we're going to add any more. I'm going to put where I don't have a black, I'm going to put that up here kind of where the bow is going to go. That way it kind of looks like the other black pieces are fairly even around the wreath. You see what I mean? Because I used three colors and the wreath is only so big, we only ended up getting three pieces of the black. Okay, which is fine. I'm totally fine with that. But we need to make sure that it gives a good pattern for the eye to follow because that kind of sticks out. So this big blob of red will be covered by a bow that has black in it. Kind of camouflages that and then brings the black through the whole wreath. My mouth is dry, y'all. Is it Linda Hobby? Is that her name? I know she was a vendor. Or no, it wasn't the Wreath Makers. Maybe it was Crafters Convention, the first one. I've got their business card somewhere. I will find out the information for sure. Okay. So look how much volume that adding mesh created into this flocked base. Now, the next part, we want to start with our biggest elements. This guy. So that's her name. Okay, Linda Hobby. Thank you. So this guy is our biggest element besides the bow. So we're going to go ahead and put him on. Figure out where he's going to sit. I like his eyes. And you may have to take these big fluffy ones and push them out of the way. That's fine. Sometimes I push them out. Sometimes I push them to the center. It just gives a nice solid base for your embellishment to lay upon. Right, I think I like them right about there. So let's get a zip tie and something to punch a hole in the fabric. Let's cut off the tag as well. I don't know if it'll show out the back or not, but right. So I need to find out where he connects to the frame, and that's where I will mark a place, and that's where I poke my hole. So I typically just squeeze. I hope you can see this. I squeeze a piece, I poke the hole through, and I kind of bore it out a little bit. I keep it pinched as I pull this out so I don't lose my hole. Makes it easier to push whatever right through. Okay. Now we've got a nice big solid area that's secure. Okay. So then we'll do the same thing for the bottom. So he's going to connect right here in his scarf area. Okay. Now it's just a matter of taking that zip tie and tying him down really tight on the frame. I'm going to have to do this on the table though. There's just some things I can't do on the stand. Twisted. I'm not going to tighten it down all the way just yet because I want to be able to move him here at the bottom. Dollar General, Sandy, before they run out. I was in there getting, we have one like right across our backfield here. And I was in there getting drinks the other day. And they were hanging right as I walked in. And I'm like, ah. My husband was with me and he just laughed. Okay. So I tighten one and I tighten the other. And he ain't going anywhere. There's my cutters. You're welcome. I probably have flock stuck to my face because I put face cream on. All right. I'm going to get these cut pieces out of my way. love this little guy. Okay, got a lot of it off. Whew. Now, let's look. We've got to put on our bow, and we've got, I brought two different types of poinsettias to the table, solid red and some striped. We might use a combination of both. We'll see how I like it, just for the simple fact that this, the red kind of is the same color. This one, the red is a little more vibrant, but maybe if I don't put it next to those reds, it's okay, but I need to get the bow on before I can decide. So let's go ahead and work on the bow next. Oh, stay still. All right, I'm going to use some tinsel wire rope to for my bow. And when I make my own work wreaths, I like to buy the rope or packages of it, and then I cut it down into 12-inch ties, because that's the length of the ties on a regular pre-made work form. And then, like, you know, I get a lot of work forms that are the tan because they go with everything. And then if you're missing some, you'll always have extras to fill in as well. And I got this at Craft Outlet. Pull up my chair. And let's see the ribbon I chose. Hi, Carol. You like the striped poinsettias? I thought they were perfect with this. I was originally going to use them in a Christmas like peppermint design, but I never got around to doing that one. And then I saw this guy and had to have him, and I'm just like, yep, gonna make him. All right, so here's the ribbons that I chose. I'm thinking I'm gonna put a solid black in there as well. I do believe. And I need a red, a 2.5-inch red. What do I have here? I have a solid. I do. I need another solid, to be honest. My ribbon is right here behind me, so that's why I'm kind of spun around here looking, or at least my red ribbon is. I got a close up of my face. I'm sorry. um, Too red. That's my problem. I don't have enough of that deeper red. Too red. This is a sad day when I don't have the right color red. Because if I've seen my ribbon collection, it's not like I don't have tons of different colors. All right. Well, I think I'm just going to have to do it with this. I'll add more of the solid red 1.5-inch to the bow. So the next thing I do is I line up how the ribbons are going to stack into my bow. Since I'm adding in a lot of red, I'm going to add in some of the solid black just to kind of cancel out some of the red. I think I like this. He's really not happy that I don't have a real red, or a red enough red. You know what? I think if it's on the bottom, this one's going to be fine. Oh. Oh, you guys, I found one. I knew that I had some somewhere. It was just on the back. Woo! I am happy now. Okay, so this matches the red that I'm already using, and the 1.5 inch, and it matches the red that we've got going on in the wreath. Okay, so let's start making the bow. To make it easier on me when I'm using the Bodabra, I go ahead and take this, put it down the center, and then wrap the ends around the bottom. We're going to lay down the red first. We're going to make a terry bow with some longer tails. So let's do, I'm going to come down here so I don't have to stretch. Let's do 8-inch tails. Do 12-inch loops. Yeah, 12-inch loops. So I do a 2-loop bow. I cut about a same size tail. I eyeball it. I don't, gosh, I still haven't gotten better scissors, y'all. I apologize. But I eyeball that second one. I don't get too exact with it. Okay, then I grab my Bodabra. I'm going to slide it down through the center. But as you see, I've already started to form my bow. I pull my tails to one side, my loops. Okay, so I keep those doing the same thing when I put it into the bow maker. I'm going to hold down one side of it as I fluff the other. Now I'm going to go down to the center here and kind of push up on that inside so it fluffs up. Basically, I'm just making sure everything is straight, not twisted, because by doing so, your bow opens much better in the end. I also make sure that my loops are the same size, which they are, so we're good. Okay. All right. Next, what do I want to put next? How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 6, so I don't need to put anything other. All right, so we're doing, what did I say, 8-inch or 10-inch? I don't know. 8-inch tails, 12-inch loops, twist, bring it to the back, scrunch it, and twist, cut an approximate tail. I always like to leave mine a little longer because I like to trim them once they're on the wreath. I think it looks better that way. Now, when you go to add this next bundle, look how your loops and tails are going. So you want to alternate. If you've got tails going this way, you want to put loops going that way this time. Okay, so you just turn the way that you put it in and where your tails are going, just like that. This also is going to make your bow open way better in the end. It may take more time, but I'm not here to race to the finish. I'm here to make a good product. Okay, moving on. Ooh, this ribbon is so stiff, the pin doesn't want to go through it. Okay, come on, Melissa. There we go. All right, so next we need a pattern. So since we're alternating colors too, okay? So we used a red solid, a black pattern. Now we're going to use a red pattern because the only other red we've got is a solid, and I don't want to put two solids back to back. I'm trying to evenly disperse solid and pattern throughout the bow. Okay, so 8-inch tails, 12-inch loop, 12-inch loop, twist, okay. Always make sure you're holding down on the opposite side that you're fluffing so you don't pull your bow. How is that way longer? Okay, hang on. This one loop is way longer. So I'm just shortening it a little bit. This one, no, it needs to come out. There we go. Okay, next. Okay, now we need to decide if we're going to put the solid black on the top or the trees. I think we're going to do solid. 8-inch tail, 12-inch loop. So 12-inch, let me pre-measure that. 12-inch loop, I bring it to the back. I squish it in. Then I twist. I take where I've pinched, measure it, another 12, bring it to the back, squish it in. Make sure my loops are the same, twist. All right, so if I've got a tail going that way, I want them going the opposite way. So I just do things to the opposite side and then lay it in the bow maker. Okay. Now we're going to go for the solid 1.5-inch red. had to look at that for a minute, make sure I'm putting it in the right way. Now, I will say, I don't feel that separating them like this matters as much if you're making other bows. But for a terry bow, I think it matters a huge deal as to how well it opens in the end. I'm going to put, actually, one more of this red stripe in, I think. I'm going to put one more of this red stripe in. It's okay if you have a little extra in a terry bow. I guess it technically wouldn't be a terry bow, but sometimes if I don't feel like there's enough of one color, I'll go ahead and add an extra layer. It's not going to hurt anything. Hi, Marcia. How are you today? I do have a pro bow, by the way, guys. I know I've not talked much about it, but I do have a pro bow, and I will use it on days that I'm having an RA flare really bad, because I just can't hold bows or make bows any other way when I'm flaring. All right, so I think that's going to be our bow. All right, well, I put, I'm such a dummy. I put this in backwards. It's fine. I'll just pull the bow out. So pull up. I'm gonna slide this through. Oh crap, I didn't want to do that either. Push back down. Well, see, and that's why it's best you do it first. Hang on. I'm just gonna rebuild these couple of layers so they lay right. Sorry about that, y'all. Just make sure they're the same size. And that right there is one of the beautiful things of using the bow, Deborah, when you have achy hands, because sometimes you just lose your grip and you can't hold on. And it's better to make a part of the bow than remake a whole bow. All right, now I'll be a little more careful lifting this. I'll actually hold it. So I'm just sliding it under since I put it on backwards, and I'm having to do this after the fact. There we go. Okay. So cross it between the two top slats and just cinch down. I try to do this before I pull the bow out of the bow maker. It helps keep it tight. Now from here, I squish. I squish down that center as tight as I can squish it as I'm pulling my evergreen pieces to the back. Okay. And I twist my bow. Okay. Hi, Sue. Now we can take and move these pieces around a little bit, by a lot bit. We got them locked in pretty good. I only do a little fluffing before I get it on the wreath. I just basically separate the layers a little bit. All right. Now, let's get it on. Remember I said I was going to put it up here to cover the sea of red? So that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to go right in between here, these two ruffles, and attach this to the frame. You may have to move pine, flocked pieces out of your way. But tie it down fairly tight so the bow doesn't flop around. Okay. Whew. Now it's just a matter of fluffing. Actually, I think I got it too tight because it sunk in too much. You don't want to pull it too tight. There we go. When it's sitting on top of all these ruffles and stuff, you don't want it to sink all the way down to the frame because that changes the way the loops look on your bow. So instead of having nice, flat, long loops laying across your piece, you've kind of got little pieces that are all scrunched up and standing up at attention because you didn't give them room to separate. So now is when I actually go through and I evenly pull tails and colors throughout the wreath where they need to go. See, I can pull the pieces, I can twist them, pretty much move them where I want them. But I want the colors to be even. Once we do this part, then I'll go in and cut the tails. My ribbon sticking to the mesh. Sue, you're going to see a lot of keeping it real. I have rheumatoid, and I have, back in March, I was cleaning my kitchen counter, of all things, and I reached out to wipe because I'd sprayed the cleaner and pinched something in my neck. I spent the next 30 days after that flat on my back in bed because I literally was in so much pain and couldn't move. Then I went through physical therapy. So I've got some nerve damage where I don't feel anything in these two fingers at all. So because of that, sometimes I can't like grasp and pull and tug. So I drop things. So it's about as real as it gets over here. But I want you guys to know that it's okay to have blunders in the shop. It happens to all of us. All right, I'm going to go through and cut some tails now. Now you see how I've got some that are longer than the others, and I did that on purpose because even though this is a terry bow, I still like to use longer tails to help fill in and provide more coverage. So we'll just start. Oh, I cut that one backwards, didn't I? Ah, lovely. I'm so bright today. Thank you. Just a little more. I cut that one just way too deep. Let's fix that. Sometimes I'm pretty OCD about it. Okay. I think I got them looking like I want them. I think this one's still just too long. We're going to go with that. I'm not trimming it again. All right, let's have some pretties. You too, Sue? Yeah, just a little differently. We all, have to find ways to not let our health issues keep us from doing what we love. Because this is my therapy. All right, I'm pretty happy with this. Oh, and thank you for the prayers, by the way. I am definitely a prayer warrior. So if any of you ladies are needing prayers, let me know. I will definitely add you to my prayer list. All right. We're gonna not play with it anymore because I could do this for hours. Okay, so I brought, as I said, the two different kinds of poinsettias. I brought some silver stars, cute little pick, some curly balls. I didn't really know what I wanted to use yet, but I think the poinsettias for sure. The cracker stacker. I thought that was just a terminology for a stalker, like a shelf stalker. Does it mean something else? Maybe, maybe I'm off base on this one. They're twisted, so I'm just twisting the leaves back the right way. Help if I used both hands. All right, remember I said this was just a little bit different than the red that's in here, and that's okay. It doesn't always have to be the same shade of red. As long as it's in the same, like cools or warms. I think we're going to use both. A little bit of both. Self-stalker. Okay, that's what I thought. So when you get these kind of picks from the store, they're all kinds of out of shape. So we got to give them a little attention. I think I want one right here. I really like one up here. Whoop, I like those. So let's just stick them in for a minute and then step back and see how we feel about them. I like that a lot, I think. We have one more. I don't know if I like that so much. Let's see. There we go. It looks like there's 6 pieces. How do we want to do them? Do they curly Q well? They do. Oh, nice. All right, so these are going to have to be taped together. We're pulling them all apart. Okay. Pull off all the extra tape, the old tape. And then I put on the new tape. Whoops, that didn't go where I wanted it to go. All right, let's see. I'm just test running some of these things through. So since they're straight, I'm going to bend them around my finger and put a little bit, ooh, that came out. Put a little bit of a curve in them so they're not straight up. You can totally leave them straight up if that's the look you're going for. I'm just gluing this back in. Where do I want to put these in first? I think maybe I should do that next because these are bigger. Hang on. I forgot about these. All right, these are actually made into the ball. So those aren't going to come off. I'm just going to glue around it. So where do I want these? I want these. I only have 2, so we have to make them count. Yep, I think so. All right. Before I go any further, I'm going to go back and start gluing these pieces in. I just make sure when I'm putting this in that it's got a nice little pocket of that flocked branch for that glue to adhere to. So these are the clip-in ones. I'm just pulling the clip part off. I don't want to have it sticking out the back of the wreath and have something that I have to cover. There's glitter everywhere, baby. Go over there. You don't got shoes on. My boys are hungry. They were coming to get a snack. When I chose this time slot, it was when they were in school and we would have had a quiet house. But no, not now. We're back on homeschool. So I'm kind of make a bed. I fold a branch over and give a flat surface. So then when I put my ornament in there, I just give it a little twist. I put a little pressure and twist. It just kind of seals everything together. Lots of glue. Come on. Going everywhere. Now we make a little base for it to sit into. Put a little pressure, twist. So I've put one here, I've come across here, put one here, I've come across here. When you're adding elements, you need to come across from each other. Hi, Candace. How are you? All right. Now, these came from the Dollar Tree, actually. You did, Linda? Aw, I'd love to see it. You channeled your inner Melissa. That makes me feel so good. Thank you. How do I want this one to sit? I don't want it up, facing like that. These, kind of sneak in, I think. He's holly and jolly and so happy with how you dressed him up. Aw, yeah. You made a couple of grapevines. You're still not comfortable. Oh, well, I will be cranking up the grapevine designs, I mean, here really soon. We are about past, winter. And winter to me is less grapevine and more evergreen. But I do a lot of like everyday stuff on grapevines. So we're getting ready to start hitting grapevines hot and heavy with like a bunch of floral designs because that's what I do. I love floral designs. But Lori told me I can make whatever I want. So this guy was speaking to me. All right, so I need to put a snowflake here. The reason being is because if you see without it, kind of got a funky shape. So you need something here, fills in that negative space, and we're going to use this star because it's big. As with everything else, we make a little pocket of the flocked goodness for it to stick into. Just like that. Give it, it's a little wiggle too, so it melds and meshes with all that flocking. Oh, that's okay. These are always on replay. Always, always. I'm honestly thinking this is going down here. Boop. Pull this off. I didn't want to have to add another bow. I wanted his little just simple scarf to be it, but we might. We might. And I'm gonna curl him up a little. I'm not trying to make a big, huge wreath. I'm trying to keep the size condensed here. Otherwise, I would probably leave these sticking straight out like they were. Yeah, I think that's it if I can get it back in there. See, there we go. We filled in some negative space there. Oh, I need to go get this one glued in. I'm going to take one of these branches and hold it down in there. Yeah, just kind of made like a little pocket there. Just like that. I clipped that one to the frame actually. Let me pull it out. So I go live every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, unless it is a holiday, and then I will usually announce what day I do the makeup day. Typically, it's the day after. But I do believe in one of the announcements at the top of the group, or there's a pin post maybe that gives the schedules. But I can tag you in that when I'm done with the live. Where did? So where I cut the little hanger out, that's the part that I put the glue on to put into the wreath. I'm still debating on putting this one up here instead of that red one. Hold that thought for a minute. I just don't like that third one up there. I don't know why. It's not making my eye happy. I'm going back to the red. I like the red, which I think it's because you put everything across from each other. We've got red, we've got red, red, red. So that's why this looks more natural to me than this. And there's really nothing wrong with this, but I like this. I like them both. I'm going to turn it this way and stand further back. Well, I mean, I don't hate that. I just feel like the red looks better. It's debatable. I think it's going to be 6 of one, half a dozen of another at this point. So I wonder if we could just do this. We're going to go back to this. This is the one we're going to use. Really, either one works fine. because we put in these, so those can serve as the big pops of red to balance it out. I think that red would have been perfect, but that just, it's such a tone that's off. All right, there we go. Trying to get it just at the edge of the bow so the loops and stuff kind of are intermingling with it, if you're wondering why I'm still playing with this. All right, I like that. I'm good with that. All right, now we get the other star in, or snowflake in. It'll go up there. Oh, there we go. Now, if you'll notice, I've put them in different ways. Okay, this one's kind of this way looking to the left. This one's kind of looking up. This one's looking face forward. I don't want them all just flat looking at me. Okay, so I think that one's good there. We're going to leave that there and get that one locked in. So it's got a lot of flocking right there. Just going to spread it apart a little bit so it goes in a little bit, just like that. Gorgeous. You like the red too? I really like them both. Really, I did. But I'm going to put in some other red elements in it. And I think that's going to be just all the red that we need. You guys will get used to me. I edit a lot as I go. All right, so we've got a few more pieces of this. Yes, I'm probably going to put most of that in. And then a few pieces of this more natural. There's a little glitz or glitter and sparkle in this one, and then a little natural. It's not too overwhelmingly either way. Okay, did I glue these in? I did. Okay, I did. I don't think I like that there. We'll come back to that one. Some of these little yarn pieces are pulling up, so I just have to glue them back down, that's all. I'll have to hold it for just a second. Hi, Casey. Are you sick, honey? Please don't tell me that you've got the C word. Go back here at the top. And make a little pocket. My pocket didn't work. I got to start again. All right. I'm going to get on my stool so I can actually see where I'm putting it this time. I'm tall, but not that tall. Stick up a little. So that needs to be it right there. I'm wrapping a branch around the actual stem just to give it a little more stability and hold it in place like that. See, easy peasy. Just giving a once over on these puffy pieces to make sure they're not loose and that I need to glue more down. Again, I'm going to wrap a branch around it just for extra stability. Don't worry about glue strings. At the end, if you've got a bunch, just take a hairdryer on low and go over it for a minute, and it'll melt all those away. Linda, the hubby's calling. You better run. I'll if the light holds up, I'll post a picture if I can get pictures today. If not, I'll try to post a picture tomorrow for you of the finished. All right, I'm going to put this one right in here. I believe. No, it needs to go in there. I have some little white pieces I might stick in and around. They were left over from my last project. So I've got 3 pieces of this white berry that I had pulled, didn't use on another design. And then I've got 3 pieces of this. So I think we'll just spread this evenly. And that might be a little few of those, and that might be the last of what we do. We're going to leave that there and think about it. This, since we only have 3 big pieces, we're going to put it here, here, and here, I think. And this I kind of want, I think, coming from underneath here. Go in more. I don't want them sticking out too far. I just want them kind of tucked in there. So got these big pieces. Let me think about that for a minute while I get out these other pieces. So I'm just going to use these colored grapevine balls. And these have a little cool texture on them. This one, I don't know. We'll see. I'll have to go back and get all this glued in. Okay. Put in. Beautiful. Pretty sure these are going to stay in the center, so I'm going to go ahead and just get that glued in. I don't always add something to my bow. Sometimes I do. Okay. I've got these 3 pieces. Where else did I want these? All right, so for these, I'm just going to dip into the glue. They're super light. And they're just going to get glued in randomly. So you want to, when you're placing stuff, go to this inside, go to the back layer. It's all about layers and providing depth. Oh, you're welcome, Sue. I absolutely love to do this job. I'm just going in all the little pockets where I see a bunch of white from the flocking, and I'm adding pieces. A little bit of these. I have a few more of these pieces I'm going to stick around. Probably get some on the underside here. I make this mistake a lot, is like forgetting to design under here because it's on my stand and not flat on the table. So make sure you're putting things everywhere. If you have walk-up porch, people as they're walking up, they're going to see this underside. Like that one there. I'm going to go right up under here. Just like that. Something up over there. I wonder. No. This just needs to go there. This is telling me that's where it wants to go. Do you ever have that piece that you try to put somewhere else and it's just like, nope, I want to be here? Yeah, that was this piece. Now remember, these pieces I'm wrapping a branch around just for stability. There we go. Oh, thank you, ladies. I know it looked like a hot mess in the beginning, but once you start adding all the stuff in, it really takes shape. What else did I want to do? I had a little bit of, what did I do with it? Of this. Isn't this just gorgeous? I'm thinking. See, this is where it gets me. I keep adding and adding and adding and adding. And then I'm like, no, back off. I don't hate little pieces of this though. Let's see what we can do with it under here. How I feel about that. Ooh, it's pretty. Yeah, I'm kind of loving it too. Let me pull it out. Ah, it's not going anywhere. I think we're going to go in and add a little bit of this as well. Whew, it is glittery. Glittery. I think we're just going to do these little pieces instead of bigger pieces. I think I like it way more. Take this back out that I just glued in and pull all the little pieces off. And we're going to put them in that way. Just tucking it in behind stuff. It's a good thing I think this is the last glittery design I'm doing for the season, because it looks like a glitter bomb went off here in my shop. All right, Linda, you can catch the replay, hon. I think, though, this big one I'm going to put up under here. Yeah, I think so. We're almost done, y'all. This is like the last thing that's going in. Right there. Drop a piece. Where did you go? Okay, well. Putting a little in through the bow that kind of ties it all in together. Where else? Over here. I'm just taking these little pieces and balancing out, kind of evenly spacing them all around the wreath. All right, I think maybe a little more right in there, and that's going to be it. Got to be big pieces. I'm getting up underneath. Okay. To get depth by putting it further back in there. Well, I think we're about done. I need to glue this big piece in underneath here. Basically, this is the base for the scarf. It'll hold it up. A little twist to his hat there. I really like that. I do. I do think I need one more of those little curly cute pieces right here though. So, and this is what I mean by curly cute pieces. Green, it's fine. Give it a little curl. All right, let me look at it from the back here, and we might be done. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, yeah. I'm going to trim this last little long piece up a little bit, and I'm going to put it right in there. It's a place that we could use just a little bit. I like it. I like it. What do you ladies think? I'm going to sit here and ponder it for a second while I take a drink. I really like them. Just wondering though, I think maybe I'm going to put the rest of these in. I see some places that could use some on this side. Three more. Thank you, Marcia. Last one. I think it needs to go right over there. I don't see anything over there. This is the last piece. All right, we're done. Now tell me what you think. Thank you so much. I really love it. He's adorbs. All right, ladies. I am going to hop off here. If y'all have any questions, just leave them down below, and I will come back a little bit later and answer them for you. And I guess, sorry, I was trying to get my mouse in. I guess I'll just see you guys next Friday at my usually scheduled time. Y'all have a great weekend. See you later.